Ways to support Teacher Ready. Under each video, join button, YouTube membership, click, select level. In the description, Discord, join, have fun. In the description also, Patreon, click, select level. In the description, donate, PayPal. Merch store, t-shirts. Email addresses in the description, and yes, I know I look like Bert Kreischer. What's good, fam? Teacher Eddie back with another ERB reaction, and this one is special because this is the first time I get to react to an ERB on the day it comes out. I was not going to do a reaction today because, in all honesty, I am just not feeling well. But when I heard ERB, I was like, Eddie, drag your butt out of bed, because this is the opportunity you've been looking for. I know you've been waiting for that history teacher reaction. So let's get into it.
What bottles of history? Richard the Lion versus Ragnar Lodbrok! I'm Richard the First from the Third Crusade. That only leaves room for you in second place. The chivalrous swinger of the sword and mace, and I kill you when I spit like a pit full of snakes.
Oh damn! Richard coming out hot. All right, let's break some of these down. So he starts with, I'm Richard the First.
Richard the First from the Third Crusade. That only leaves room for you in second place.
So I'm Richard the First from the Third Crusade. So he's playing on the First and the Third Crusade. So the only thing left for you, son, is second place. So yeah, the Third Crusade is what Richard is most famous for. The Third Crusade is where Richard, as the King of England, teams up with the kings of Germany and the King of France, Philip II, and they wanted to take back the Holy Land after Saladin had taken Jerusalem under the Turkish flag. The Muslims basically controlled Jerusalem. And, of course, this did not sit well with the European kings.
The chivalrous swinger of the sword and mace, and I kill you when I spit like a pit full of snakes.
I kill you when I spit. Oh, man. Like a pit full of snakes. So that's a hard-ass line. So, as far as being chivalrous, yeah, so Richard spent most of his rule at war. You know, he wasn't quite that chivalrous, though. But he led a rebellion, for example, to overthrow his father, Henry II, who was the first line in the line of their family. And there's some speculation that he was also kind of pushed by his mother to do it as well. And actually, in attempting to revolt against his father, he actually teams up with Philip II in the rebellion to take control. And, of course, he and Philip team up in the Third Crusade as well. But the line, I'll kill you when I spit like a pit full of snakes. So Ragnar was actually executed by being thrown into a pit full of snakes. So there's that double meaning there of, you know, referencing Ragnar's death, but also at the same time referencing, you know, spitting, which is another term for rapping. You know, I'm going to spit these hot bars, but also the venom that snakes spit. So that's a line, man. I'm the #1 dick.
I'm the #1 dick, rising up to make you feel small. My battering ram slams through your shield wall.
Oh my god.
To make you feel small.
So no ERB is complete until we get a dick reference, right? So I'm the #1 dick. Of course, dick is another way to refer to someone named Richard. It's Richard or Dick, and he's calling himself the #1 dick because he was Richard the First. And he goes rising up to make you feel small. So obviously penis envy. Battering ram, yeah, so let me just replay that.
Battering ram like a pit full of snakes. I'm the #1 dick, rising up to make you feel small. My battering ram slams through your shield wall. I'll announce at the next of your things that I'm chopping through your family like boneless.
Ooh, damn. Richard coming out hot. So yeah, so we got the penis envy line. My battering rams, so will slam through your through your walls. So that's basically showing the dichotomy of their battle styles, whereas Richard was known for just his relentlessness. So battering rams, just pushing through, that was Richard's style. Whereas the Vikings were famous for their shielded walls to protect themselves, especially when they were fighting in open fields and things of that nature. And then he says, "I'll announce it at the next of your things." So in Norse tradition, the next your things, that would be the equivalent of like a democratic parliament in the Viking Age. So he's saying, "I'm gonna announce it at the next of your things," which is basically like their version of parliament. That I'm chomping through your family like boneless wings. So Ragnar's son was Ivar the Boneless. Wow. Chomping through like the boneless. I could go for some boneless wings right now, by the way, man. Sounds delicious.
Swing! Of course you got avenged by a kid with no bones. Your own story ended worse than Game of Thrones. Your son killed your ex killed your wife. I'm the Lion King, man, but that's a messed up circle of life.
Damn. Lion King references now. Look at Ragnar like, "Man, bitch, that's all you got? That's all you got? You shouldn't have even been coming at me if that's all you got." So let's break down a couple of those things. So, again, going back to Ivar the Boneless, who's Ragnar's son. So it was a messed up circle of life there within that family. And of course, the circle of life is a reference to the Lion King, Richard the Lionhearted. So Ivar ends up having to avenge his mother because Ragnar's ex killed Ragnar's wife, who was Ivar's mother. I know, keep track. You need like a Venn diagram for this. So Ivar ends up killing his ex because killing his father's ex because his father's ex killed his own mother, who is Ragnar's wife. And Ivar ends up going berserker mode. And your own story ended worse than Game of Thrones. Yeah, that was disappointing as all hell, that ending. I actually, and I have proof, I screenshotted all my text messages with my friends. I call the Game of Thrones ending by like episode 2 of the last season. I called it thing for thing that was going to happen. Because what we hoped was going to happen did not happen. So it's very disappointing. And yeah, the end of Ragnar's life is pretty disappointing. You know, getting thrown in the pit of snakes and all that stuff.
Head taps can't be condoned. It's like you raided the face of Post Malone.
Oh, shit. Man, come on, man. You can't be comparing Ragnar to Post Malone. That ain't even right. That ain't even right. That is not right, man. I agree with the, you know, I'm the Lion King and you got a messed up circle of life there. But don't be going after Ragnar's face tats, man. Those face tats are badass, man. There's certain people who can get face tats and they pull them off. Mike Tyson, he could pull off a face tat. Ragnar, he could pull off them face tats. Post Malone, not so much. Post Malone looks like he just walked into a tattoo shop and he just looked at all the flash on the walls and he's like, the tattoo artist was like, "So, yeah, what do you want to get?" And Post Malone was like, "Yes. Everything. Just put it all on my face. All that flash."
Head taps can't be condoned. It's like you raided the face of Post Malone. I'm scared of no foe. I'm backed by the Trinity. I'll conquer you on my day off like you were Sicily.
All right, yeah, so let's break down those last couple of bars there. I'm scared of no foe.
I'm backed by the Trinity. I'll conquer you on my day off like you were
I'm backed by the Trinity, so that could be a double meaning right there. Trinity can refer to the Holy Trinity, because the three kings, because the Third Crusade is also known as the King's Crusade, because again, it was the kings of England, France, and Germany. And the Emperor of Germany was the Holy Roman Emperor. So it can refer to the Holy Trinity, but also the Trinity of the three kings, right? Because the Third Crusade was headed by three kings. who are referred to as a trinity as well. So, and I'll conquer you on my day off like it was Sicily. Yes, that's true. Richard did, in the Crusades, the Three Kings, they went to their quest to Jerusalem through Sicily, but that line kind of backfires because the Vikings are well known for conquering Sicily on multiple occasions. Even the descendants of the Vikings, the Normans, there were even a vast amount of Viking skeletons that were found in Sicily. So that line, doesn't really work, Richard. But let's see what Ragnar's got.
Sicily! Threatening to conquer Ragnar is bold. For a king who got whacked by a 10-year-old, I'll sacrifice you to—
Alright, Ragnar's coming out with the heat right away. Oh, goddamn. Ragnar's coming out with the heat right away. Wow. Threatening Ragnar is bold for a king who got whacked by a 10-year-old. So yes, that is actually true. Whether he was 10 years old or not, that's debatable. But Richard was hit in the shoulder by a crossbow. And the wound ended up turning gangrene. What is it? Gangreous? Yeah, gangreous, I think. And the person who hit him with the crossbow turned out to actually be a young boy. I don't know if he was 10 years old or not, but it's pretty much accepted that it was a young child. And the child apparently did it to avenge his father's death because he claimed that Richard killed his father in battle. And the child was set to be executed, but Richard actually ended up forgiving him and freeing him before he died. And he also gave him some money or whatever. But yeah, that's how Richard ended up dying. He ended up dying at the hands of a child who shot him in the shoulder of all places with a crossbow, and the wound turned gangrenous. I'll sacrifice you to Odin. So Odin, of course, we all know Odin from the Thor movies, the All-Father. So Odin in Norse mythology is, the god of wisdom and war and everything. So he's basically like the main Viking. He's the Viking of Vikings. And of course, he's a god and known as the All-Father. So that's why Ragnar is saying, I'll sacrifice you to Odin. But let me just go back here a little bit.
Oh, while drinking horns of mead! Good thing you hold the red cross, cause that's who you're going to need!
Ooh, that's, wow, man. Ragnar's they're both coming out pretty hot, man.
You built your while drinking horns of
mead. So mead, of course, was a alcoholic beverage in the days of the Vikings, and they would drink him out of those horns.
Good thing you hold the red cross, cause that's who you're going.
So good thing you hold the red cross, because that's what you're gonna need. That is a great, great, great line. I love it. So Richard's signet, or his symbol, so to speak, was the red cross, and it was actually referred to as the cross of, I believe, it was the cross of St. George. And it was a signet, and again, it's a wordplay on Red Cross, right? Because after I'm done with you, you're going to need to call in the Red Cross to clean all this mess up that I'm about to leave.
You built your army by raising English taxes. I raised my army taxing English asses with my axes. And who are you to talk about the circle of life?
That's true, yeah. So that was one of the things. Richard wasn't exactly a hated king. He was, he had his ups and downs, so to speak. He had his peaks and valleys. But he did cost the English people a lot of money. So he was known for raising taxes, and that was not very popular. And also, eventually, later on, after failing in the Crusades, Richard ends up being captured. And the ransom that had to be paid to free him was insane. So he kept on costing the English people a lot of money. And of course, there was the huge disappointment in him actually failing to capture Jerusalem in the Third Crusade. So yeah, definitely. And Ragnar, yes, the Vikings were known for taxing them English asses. Absolutely. There was some really just massive, like, overtakings, massacres, conquests of English properties and lands and everything else.
Old lady can't feel the love on any night. Your only son was illegitimate. You out on the side. Twist your spine like the end of the Plantagenet line.
Holy shit! Oh my god, this is why I love ERB so much. Their lines are so deep, and it is so obvious that they do their research. I'm sure this is why people want historians' reactions, because they don't want just people sitting there like, man, that was badass. You know, you want these lines broken down. That is a knockout blow line route right there. That is a KO. That is a Mike Tyson double uppercut right there. Let me break this down for you so you can appreciate it.
Are you to talk about the circle of life? Your old lady can't feel the love on any.
So yeah, so again, we're referencing the Lion King again, because Richard the Lionhearted. So Can You Feel the Love Tonight, which was a song by Elton John, but this goes much deeper. So Richard was actually betrothed. They had an arranged marriage. He was betrothed to a very, very young girl. I think she was like 10 years old, like the boy who killed him. And Richard had no interest whatsoever in, number one, marrying her because she was so young. But Richard really never wanted to marry anybody. Richard just wanted to have side chicks galore, right? So that's why Ragnar says your only son was illegitimate because you erred on the side. And again, erred on the side has the double meaning, right? For, an heir to your throne, but also you erred, as in made a mistake, on the side, and on the side meaning side chicks, right? So that's as far as that goes. But here's the killer line right here.
Any night, your only son was illegitimate. You out on the side. Twist your spine like the end of the plan.
I'll twist your spine like the end of the Plantagenet line. This is you just one more. I gotta hear it one more time.
Your only son was illegitimate. You out on the side. Twist your spine like the end of the Plantagenet line.
The end of the Plantagenet line. So, Henry II, who was Richard the Lionhearted, or Richard I's father, he was the first of the Plantagenet line. And they ruled all the way up until Richard III. And for those of you who don't know, Richard III had a pretty short reign, but an extremely bloody reign. And Richard III was born with what most believe was scoliosis. But there are actually images of his skeleton, and you could see the curvature in his spine. So by saying, I'll twist your spine like the end of your line is, wow, what a friggin' line. Because it starts with Richard's father, and then their line ends with Richard III, who had a twisted spine. Wow, what a line. That's a deep cut, man. I love it.
I'm just a warrior. I'm not the linguist, but I think the King of England should probably speak English. You took accurate chaff.
That is something that a lot of historians do accept. So, as I mentioned before, Richard, during his reign, did not spend a lot of time in England at all, and he didn't spend a lot of time in England, period, during his lifetime. He spent something like less than a year of his life actually like north of the English Channel, because the rest of the time he was constantly in war, and he was somebody who, like I said, didn't really have, any interest aside from war. But it is widely accepted that he may have not to learn how to speak English. So yeah, the King of England not speaking English, yeah, that's true.
Like a linguist, but I think the King of England should probably speak English. You took accurate Jaffa like a piece of cake, but never attacked Jerusalem for Christ's sake. All the holy.
Wow, you never took Jerusalem for Christ's sake. Yeah. So Richard did take Acre and Jaffa handedly. handedly. There's no debating that. And this gave a lot of momentum to the Third Crusade. The people of Europe were overjoyed, and they thought, "Oh man, this is gonna be like nothing. We're gonna take that. We're gonna take Jerusalem." But unfortunately, they failed the ultimate goal of taking Jerusalem.
And we couldn't go all the way. We should call it the Crusade of Richard the First base.
Oh, damn. Okay, Ragnar, I got to give that to Ragnar, man. Ragnar's killing it right now. Ragnar's lines just drop like fire, son. So let me just play that one back.
We couldn't go all the way. We should call it the Crusade of Richard the First base.
Okay, so you saw the Holy Land, but you couldn't go all the way. So again, we got the double entendre there of, you know, again, sexual metaphors. You know, first base, second base, third base, and going all the way, meaning actually having sex. So again, it references the King's Crusade's failings. You know, the first base, yeah, they got the first base, but they couldn't go all the way. And again, Richard the Lionhearted was Richard the First, so we should just call him Richard the First Base, because that's all he got to. He got the first base. He got a little peck on the cheek. But there was no groping, there was no sex, he didn't get to go all the way. Wow. Ragnar, man.
Sail back north with your barbarian goons, because I'm tearing down your legacy, leaving it in ruins. Your real self next to your legend disappoints. I see you shaking in your shaggy little pants like zoinks.
Okay. Alright, that's a deep cut too. So, let me just take that back.
Next to your legend.
Yeah, your real self disappoints next to your legend. So, this goes back to the whole debate on whether or not Ragnar was actually a real person, because this is highly debated. It is generally accepted that someone named Ragnar did exist, but most of the stories that we see in the show and everything else are based more on legends than anything else. There's really no, like, you know, written histories available to reference as primary sources of the time. While it's generally accepted that Ragnar, you know, a person named Ragnar existed, just like, you know, it's generally accepted, you know, that a person named Jesus did exist, but whether the rest of the stories are true or not, there's no, again, primary historical evidence to prove that. So he's saying, you know, seeing the real you next to the legend that we see, like in the TV shows and everything else, kind of disappoints. And then he mentions the Shaggy line.
It disappoints. I see you shaking in your shaggy little pants like zoinks.
So Shaggy, of course, Shaggy is a character from Scooby-Doo. For those of you who don't know, man, Saturday morning cartoons, man. So Shaggy, but Shaggy also, because Ragnar's last name, Lodbrok, translates in Old Norse to shaggy breeches, for those who didn't know. That one is just because I just love trivia and all types of these weird facts. Like I said, I'm not big on dates, but I love facts, I love trivia, and of course, as a history teacher and a historian, I love the history. So I always have been fascinated by the etymology of names, meanings of names, things of that nature. So that one paid off, finally, for once. And zoinks is a catchphrase that Shaggy on the Scooby-Doo show would always say when he was scared of something. So he's trying to say, like, I see you shaking in your pants, like, zoinks, 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 Scoob.
Who invented the royal me? We. Who's the predominantly fictional MC? Lee. You're a one.
Yeah, again, so he's calling him a fictional MC. And again, you know, it goes back to what we just discussed.
Mon ami, kneel down and honor me. Richard coming through in the end like Sean Connery. The double coronated.
Oh, oh my God, I was hoping for that. Oh, what a great line.
Me, kneel down and honor me. Richard coming through in the end like Sean.
And I love how he just pans through the scene while he says that. So, Richard coming through in the end like Sean Connery. So this is a reference to, it's a cheesy movie, but it is one of my favorite movies, and it's one of the few movies with Kevin Costner that I actually enjoy. So the movie came out in, I want to say 1991. I'm pretty good with my movie dates. It was called Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. And it stars Kevin Costner as Robin Hood. And there were also a bunch of Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio was in it. Christian Slater was in it. But then at the end of the Robin Hood story, when Robin and Maid Marian are getting married, Richard, the Lionhearted, makes an appearance to actually do their vows. I forget what it's called. The person who does the vows, whatever. So he comes in as the officiant of the wedding, so to speak. And who plays Richard, the Lionhearted, in the movie? None other than the great Sean Connery. One of the greatest cameo appearances in movie history. I was fangirling when I saw Sean Connery because I'm a big James Bond fan, just love Connery in general. So yeah, coming through in the end like Sean Connery is a reference to Sean Connery only makes one appearance in the movie and it's all the way at the end of the movie. So coming through in the end like Sean Connery. Great line.
Sean Connery, the devil coronated blood and gore me. You might have the axe, but I make a body spray. Lionheart's a sober.
You might have the axe, but I make a body spray. Again, referencing to Ragnar's weapon of choice being the axe, and then of course axe body spray. The body spray that is used by douchebags worldwide to smell like extra douchebag.
Came and I struck like a cobra. If I wanted to, might have the axe, but I make a body spray. Lionheart's a sober came and I struck like a cobra. If I wanted to fight loser Vikings, I'd go to Minnesota.
Oh damn, that's cold. That's cold, Richard. So he says Lionheart's a sobriquet. So sobriquet is another word for nickname. So like Lionheart is his nickname, right? Sobriquet. But he's saying that may be my nickname, that may be my sobriquet, but I strike like a cobra. And this also may be a reference again to Ragnar's death in the Pit of Snakes, the cobra. And if I wanted to fight loser Vikings, I'd go to Minnesota. That's messed up, man. Referencing the NFL football team, the Minnesota Vikings. Yeah. Minnesota hasn't, the Vikings, yeah, they haven't brought any much glory to Minnesota.
To fight me? Take off the tin shirt. I'll be waiting in my birthday suit, going berserk. Ding dang dong, morning bells warn about me at the break of.
Yeah, so he's saying, look, man, you really want to fight? Let's fight man to man. Take off the tin shirt, right? Meaning take off all of your armor and all that stuff. And meet me. I'll be in my birthday suit. Let's just fight man to man. And then the bells warn at the break of dawn. Again, you know, if there was an impeding threat coming to a city, they would ring the bells. Kind of like in Game of Thrones, right? When Daenerys finally shows up with the dragons and they ring the bells. And the bells, for whatever reason, set her off. And then she decides to burn the whole city. Yeah.
Of dawn, and I'm putting you to sleep like your brother John. Living monks and chunks on Northumbrian lawns as I'm the all-father spawn.
Oh, damn. Yeah. It looks like Ragnar's gonna take this one. Yeah, so your brother John. So John, as I mentioned, Richard after failing in the Crusade, Richard was imprisoned when he was captured by Austria. And when Richard was finally returned home, there was some deal making that had to be made because John actually felt like, didn't feel like, he actually did take over. And he felt like he should have been in charge. But there was some deal making made, and basically what Richard did was name John as the heir to the throne once Richard had passed instead of his nephew. So again, there was some deal making made there. But the leaving monks in chunks.
The John, living monks in chunks on Northumbrian lawns.
Yeah. So this refers to one of the bloodiest and most famous Viking attacks. It was the Viking attack on the church of St. Cuthbert. And this sent like a massive shockwave through Europe. Attacking a church and slaughtering monks, and it was something. It was a huge deal. It was a massive deal. But yeah, leaving monks in chunks, man, that's hard.
I'm the all-father spawn. You couldn't even beat a salad in a fight. fight. You're as soft as Monty Python nights.
You're as soft as Monty Python's nights. Oh my boo-boo. Yeah, the salad line though, that's a deep cut right there too. You couldn't even beat a salad in a fight. So this, of course, refers to Saladin. So Saladin had taken over, again, like I mentioned in the beginning, had taken over Jerusalem. Richard and Philip, they obviously failed against Saladin, so you couldn't even beat a salad in a fight. And but even though Richard and Philip were defeated by Saladin, they had great respect for each other. It was very interesting. They actually ended up like having kind of like this weird relationship where they would send gifts to each other every year out of respect. And Richard did refer to Saladin as the craftiest. He called him the craftiest general. And Richard and Saladin saw Richard as very honorable. He which was a big deal in the Muslim faith. For the Turks, honor was a big thing. So yeah, but he's saying you couldn't even beat a salad in a fight because you're as soft as Monty Python's Knights. Not a big fan of Monty Python, but I do get the reference because I've seen the scene. But yeah, Monty Python's Knights aren't very formidable.
Salad in a fight. You're as soft as Monty Python Knights. You went from chainmail to chained up in jail. The mummy trained England to pay for your bail. But no king's ransom will say.
Yes, so that's something I've been referencing a lot, so they actually do mention it here. You went from chainmail to chained up in jail.
Chained up in jail, the mummy drained England to pay for your bail.
Yeah, mommy drained England to pay for your bail. So, Richard ended up, he was shipwrecked quite a few times, actually, during the Crusades. But after the defeat, Richard ends up getting shipwrecked and captured by the Duke of Austria, and they held him for ransom. And the ransom, like I said, I don't remember the exact figure, but it basically cost like a quarter of England's wealth or something like that at the time. Like, it was insanely high, and a lot of people were like, nah, not worth it, really not worth it.
King's ransom will save you from these bars, son. I'm eating you alive like the gangrene you died from.
And he ends it on, yeah, so no king's ransom will save you from these bars. Eating you alive like the gangrene you died from. So again, yeah, he gets shot in the shoulder by the arrow. Gangrene takes him. But of course, gangrene is a flesh eating. So he's saying, I'm eating you alive with these bars. I got to give it to Ragnar. Ragnar's lines were, again, berserker, son. Berserker. I mean, Richard had some good lines, not saying anything. And a lot of Richard's lines were, factual, so to speak. But at the end of the day, the harder lines definitely came from Ragnar. So I am so happy with this one. It is so exciting to actually do an ERB on the day it comes out. And this one was such an awesome matchup because it's two of my, favorite things in history. I love Norse mythology. I love mythology in general. But yeah, Norse mythology, Viking history, and then, of course, the Middle Ages and the Crusades and all that good stuff. So huge props to ERB, as always, for doing their research, for really just coming up with amazing deep-cut references, historical references, double entendres, of course, the dick joke. It's not complete until you have the dick joke. So I really hope this helped some people who were trying to figure out these lines, because I know, a lot of reactors out there do their reactions, but they don't have the historical knowledge. So that's why you come to me and other historians out there who do these reactions, because we pause, we break it down. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. Obviously, I probably missed something here and there, and you guys love pointing out lines I missed, so I'm sure I missed something. And if you want to support the show, as always, you know what to do. Links are in the description. And I'm going to shout out the Patreons and catch you in the next one, fam. And as at the end of every show, we want to thank the Patreons for supporting the show, for keeping things running, starting with the Chancellor's tier: Wouter, Chris H, Jump with E, Need You, Blue Tech, Phoenix, Laughin' Jackal, Electra James, Elena J, Douglas, the Principal tier: James R, Spacey Doodle, Ulrike, Mick, Quiet J, Clement, Vijandra, Moody Kakari, Alan, Chad, Alex, Lauren, Aaron Shepard, Chris L, Lord Gandalf, Freeman, Nathan, Rasmus, Tommy F, and Upset Bro. I've been Teacher Eddie, and I'll catch you next time.